Guys, a pet update at my household.
I hope this involves a shattered ceiling and a rain of plaster down as the dog finally grew to the advertised and I dare say promised height.
No, it's. I'm going to shock you. It's about the not so popular pet in the house, the fish.
Oh, is he still around? Good on him.
Fish, Wolf, still going strong.
Wolf?
Yeah.
What was Fido?
It was that Fido got replaced. Remember, Fido got replaced by Beck's sister, and then you called as the ghost of Fido.
Yes, that's right. That's right. Good fun.
To say, why'd you do this as we pranked Beck's sister?
It's an important part of the mourning process. Is to have calls from the grave, beyond the grave, done in a sensitive and joking manner to help people process the loss of a goldfish. The golden years, as they're known, Ando, when you had a fish as a dog surrogate, will always be fondly remembered. When Beck was asking for a dog and instead you got her a goldfish for many years. But now you have a real dog, the favourite pet of the house.
Yes.
And
I said to Beck,
is neglected.
Hey, the fish is being neglected. Anyway, get home and Wolf is upside down at the top.
Trying to get your attention. They'll do anything for love, goldfish. They sense it.
Beck, immediate panic mode, very upset that she's like, something's wrong with Wolf. And I said, no.
I think it's one of the worst things, one of the biggest wrongs that can happen.
And then
he's gone to maximum wrong.
No, he'll be right. And so I'm doing some Googling. It's late at night. And then
my fish is stuck halfway through a barrel roll. What could be wrong with him?
Next morning, still upside down, but at the bottom now. Right. And
like dead, right?
Yeah, dead. Yeah, no. Still moving.
What do you mean?
So Beck,
he's inverted.
He's just inverted, but he's
so his mouth is moving and he's alive.
Yeah.
Oh, he's not dead.
He's not dead. He's still rolling around.
So he's got a ballast issue.
He's still making his way around the tank. He's just upside down.
So it is a ballast problem.
It's a ballast problem.
You've got a bubble caught in him, maybe.
You're spot on.
Is that what it is?
Because I was like, he needs to fart.
Right.
So
he's got air trapped in his underbelly, so he's gone. He's floating up.
Imagine if when we needed to fart, we floated to the roof. Hamish would not.
I might as well. I'd move the couch up there. I'd glue the couch to the roof. Just cut to the chase and nail everything to the roof.
Haim, you know Beck well. She's not great in these situations. She gets very overwhelmed, and so she won't go into the kitchen because that's where it is, because it brings her so much sorrow. So she's been crying. She's upset that Wolf is upside down.
And there's nothing you can do. You can't push on his belly.
Squeeze him? Yeah. Can you squeeze him?
So here's the thing. I'm chatting to different, we're getting the water tested. I'm chatting to different vets. Most vets hang up on you. They are like, we don't do fish.
I would do that, yeah. I would go, I do fish, but only over $50.
Yeah, my fish needs to fart is not a huge priority.
I do a Nemo. I do the tropical stuff. Yeah. I do one of the Mexican fighting fish. I do your A-list fish.
Yeah.
But I'm not doing a
goldfish. Yeah. So they said you have to chat to the fish vet, but the fish vet got on to his hours only start at 5 p.m, so I don't think it's his primary job. I think he must do something else. And then he clocks on at 5 p.m.
It's a scam. You just say you're a fish vet to see if anyone fell for it.
And it was a mobile number. It wasn't a premise.
He's like a landscaper. And he's got, sure, I'll throw fish vet in.
So I talked to him. I've also talked to an aquarium, and they said you've got to feed it peas.
Yeah. That's big. That's a lot of food for a fish.
Yeah.
They'll be like us eating a watermelon.
Yeah, it's true. So they said boil peas. Then make sure you take the skin off the peas, and then
see you, Wolf.
Cut it into quarters and try and feed the fish these peas. So I've done that
to make him fart.
Yeah, apparently a high protein or fiber, whatever, for the peas will help it work through. So I'm rolled the sleeves up and I'm lowering these peas in and getting Wolf to eat the peas out of my hand, and he's done that.
Just dump them in.
Yeah,
hand feed him.
Well, because he's not really moving around that much, mate.
You said he was moving before when we claimed he was dead.
Yeah, he was doing laps in my mind.
Yeah, but if you're upside down trying to reach for the cheeseburger, he's a little bit disorientated, okay? So it was definitely, they were saying if you can.
I think you did this to make Beck think.
No, the
you're
guy said make
sensitive.
sure you get the fish to eat the peas, right?
Okay.
So we did that.
Very hard thing to do for kids as well.
And he ate the peas, and they said wait 24 hours. Woke up, still upside down, still going fine, but still upside down. So I've rung back the aquarium. He said you're going to have to give it a stomach massage. So I was like, okay. I was out for work. Beck kept ringing me, going, "When are you getting home to give the fish a massage?"
Tell you what, good gig being a pet in the Lee household these days. Not before Beck. Before Beck, you would have been kicked out and you might not have lived. But now that Beck's on the scene, every animal gets mud wraps, face cleansers, tummy rubs, massages, Japanese
is a
thermal
pet more
baths.
spoiled than Henry currently in the house is just a shock to me. So I'm rushing back from work to get in. She's like, "Come on, he's still upset." So I'm in there and I'm giving this fish a massage.
And he gets an erection. I've heard FM radio, mate. It's the oldest story in the book. Come on. Every breakfast show's done this story. And he gets a little boner and it's a bit awkward between you, and now he won't look you in the eye.
So I've managed to kind of not push too hard. Like I didn't push the poo out of them, but I've encouraged.
Sorry, so this is still on the tummy.
A poo.
You did get it out.
I've encouraged one out, but it didn't seem like a full whack. And then he righted himself for a second, and then he's gone back to being upside down.
Another one. You're teaching him Pavlov's goldfish.
So current state of affairs, still upside down. Sure. Beck's still requesting that I give him a massage every night. But still alive.
And have you tried to turn him around?
Yes.
Upright?
Yes.
And he'll just spin back?
He for a while, he's like, this seems like the right way to be. And then, unfortunately, the gas takes over and his stomach takes him.
Not as a joke. My initial thought here is to get a water bomb, slightly inflate it, right? Put it at the top, and using fishing wire or something like that, harness him so it rights him, like thread the fishing. So he's got like a little harness and the bubble, like he's
I see what you're
floating
saying.
him.
Yeah.
Oh, like a little hot air balloon.
Hot air balloon him to right him the wrong way. Battle that small bubble with a big bubble.
It seems like a short-term solution.
Yeah, but that'll make that gas bubble he's got float back to where it's meant to be at the top.
Oh, yeah.
It'll sort it out.
Hamish, could you start knitting him a harness?
I'm not knitting again, mate. Did I tell you how long the knitting took?
Oh, yeah.
Hours, Jack. Absolutely hours. Most work I've done all year. My hands are still cramped from that knitting.
Wolf will have evolved eyes on his back by the time, on his front by the time Hamish finished knitting.
No, I only knit for very, very close friends, not their fish.
Fish update, guys. As we talked last week about Wolf, my goldfish that has been spending time upside down in the tank. But not dead. A week's gone by, and still upside down, but going fine. So we've been, again, chatting to more fish people to try and work out. I'm still massaging the fish.
Every day?
Every day.
Mate. At what point do you just try and move his eyes and just rejig him?
Replace his eyes on his belly.
Just
and
like,
so he looks like he's upright. Or just draw some. Or glue some on. Glue some goggle eyes on. Yeah, so it's good. I mean, I obviously now do a range. I ask him what he wants. Does he want deep tissue, loamy?
4 hands, 4 fingers massage?
I've been told that I can start massaging a little harder. Perhaps I was too soft.
Well, Andy, the first thing you ask in a massage is, how's the pressure for you?
Yeah, exactly. He doesn't like speaking during the massage.
Sure. No conversation, please.
So there's 2 things that are happening now. So the recent fish guy said, hey, you might want to give him a salt bath. And I'm like, all right. And so we take only for 3 minutes, but you take the fish out of the tank and you give them essentially like an Epsom salt bath.
Again, Jack, the animals at Andy's house. It's like...
It's wild.
Every day for these animals is a bachelor day.
I would love to live one day as an animal at Andy's house.
Over.
So I gave Wolf a salt bath, seemed to enjoy that. Then
how do you know that? Can't smile, can't talk.
And he might have been frowning because he's upside down. You thought it was a smile.
Popped him back in. I was told to massage him after the salt bath. Did that. I had to do the shelling of the peas still. And
you're still trying to make him fart.
And then I hand feed this fish food every night.
He's got. Why would he write himself?
Yeah.
I mean, I know they've only got a 3-second memory, but somewhere in his
That's not true, by the way.
cells, he'd be going, "Don't change this."
Yeah, they do have longer memories than that.
How do you know?
Well, it's a myth.
But how would we know what their memory is?
Well, I know because I can whistle and it comes to the top for food. So
That just might be primal. That's instinct.
We tested it. Anyway, so it turns out that hasn't righted him. He's still spending time just upside down.
Gotcha.
Spoke to the fish guy again. He's like, look, it can happen that they never right themselves, but they can go on to live a long and fulfilled life upside down.
Work with what you got, not what you don't have, you know?
Which doesn't seem...
Fulfilled is interesting, but yeah. I mean, what's he not able to do though?
Yeah,
you know?
it's just water.
Well,
Like-
he kind of moves around, but only on the bottom. But it just doesn't feel. It feels like if you're upside down your whole life, doesn't feel like it's a fun time.
But we don't like going upside down because the blood rushes to our head. But we're an up and down animal. He's a side to side animal.
Yeah, right.
So the blood wouldn't be rushing to his head. He wouldn't have a headache.
No.
I mean, the argument is there's like you're in water, so you don't actually know really which way is up, which way is down, because you can't see the sky or anything. So you can see the ground, but now the ground lives up there, and
I suppose you're looking at the ground more often. It's not as fun to look around, I suppose.
It's really just changed the visual he's got of your kitchen.
let's be honest here.
Should
It's
I get a lid?
with something on it,
And
or put a more interesting ground in because he's looking at that more.
Or
Get coloured rocks, because let's be honest.
Or do I put it? Do I put on the bottom? Do I make it look like sky?
Yeah,
And then put a lid
that looks like rocks.
looks like rocks.
This whole idea of him living a fulfilled life. I mean, he's a prisoner in a glass jar. That's his whole day. It's
Gets a massage daily.
It's not like he was running. He wasn't living on the Great Barrier Reef. Like he lives the worst life imaginable because you're just stuck in a glass jar.
Getting
So
massage.
I wouldn't say his fulfillment's changed too much, has it? His life experience.
It already sucked. His life sucked, and now just sucks 1 or 2% more.
Okay. Nice to know.
Massages must be nice though. Yeah.
Loose ends.
Lot of actually not that many loose ends because
up.
we're a pretty efficient show.
Well, Peter outs, there will be plenty we ignore and won't bring up here, but loose ends. A lot of people have been emailing me, asking me what happened to Wolf the fish.
It was upside down for a while. You were massaging it at one
Massaging
point.
it daily to try and get it to fart. Did I mention to you guys that it had to have salt baths?
No.
Isn't that just the ocean? Just put it in the ocean. Let it go. Let it go.
So the next bit of advice from the fish vet, who again I think has another job because he only operates after hours, you got to give it 90-second salt baths. So in between massaging it, I was giving it salt baths. It did do a fart and righted itself, but then
How big was the fart?
Oh,
And
one bubble.
Yep. Nowhere near enough to impress anyone.
No.
And then it went,
48 hours later, it left.
that was its last gasp.
It left this world now. That's
Rest in
sad.
peace. Sorry to hear it.
So the fart was keeping it alive. It was the fart of life.
Yeah. Or
That
it
might
was
have
so
been
satisfying that it just was like,
I've done it all.
That was the bucket
That
list.
was its soul.
Yeah.
Maybe that was its soul.
I thought, well, that's it. I guess we will put it in the bin or something. But
Yeah.
Beck-
No. Then isn't this where the fish vet comes in and goes, "I'd like to offer you the $1,200 fish burial service."
if he had, Beck would have taken it. But Beck was very upset. As you know, she can be quite an empathetic person.
Sure.
So she insisted on a burial down the coast. So we had to travel with a fish down the coast
To the beach.
to the beach.
That
She-
seems cruel.
Yeah, it's where you would have wanted to be.
You spend your whole life
Sure,
dreaming
as you
about
can
this
imagine,
place.
It's very tricky parking a 40-metre
Oh.
jet into a very narrow spot. So we're just adjusting that now. Shouldn't be too much longer at the power.
Oh yeah, no worries. We're just doing loose ends.
He's tying up one of his own loose ends at the moment. So yeah,
But that is true. So isn't that sad for the fish to go, I've dreamed of this place and you kept me imprisoned in a glass jar?
that's one way of looking at it.
Yeah.
Or you go, how nice to suddenly return to somewhere that you should have been.
Yeah, that's okay.
Beck buried the fish in a Dior box.
Oh
and then
my God! Must be nice to be a fish.
And then as I dug the small trench and tried to make sure the dog didn't get to the fish, as we patted it down and it was under the earth, Beck turned to me and said, "Can you say a few words?" Which I wasn't expecting. But that's what happened to Wolf. I did say a few words, not worth repeating because I can't remember them.
Would you like to say a few words? Yes, I would. Without smirking? Oh, no, then I can't.